Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what it is. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? You know what it is. It's your boy Trey, and you're rocking with your favorite vets on the next First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on and fall in with us as we get to talking about and engaging about some of the things that went over the course of the last 24 hours or throughout the day with sports. Sometimes we don't know what we're going to talk about. But I graciously appreciate y'all tapping in with us this morning. A lot going on when you look at it from the aspect of where my focus somewhat has been, or the focus has been when we're talking about the round ball, that's basketball. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the season, in which 3-4 games for the most part, teams jostling, a couple of teams in secure positions. We're going to talk about that all. You got a little drama going on in the NFL. It's crazy right now. We're going to get to that. Talk about a little some stuff in reference to the business portion aspects of it, in which it's all good. 1 second. So to get it in, first off, starting, like I said, about the NBA. Sorry, 1 second, got sidetracked. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, of course, if you've been watching and pay attention, you know there's a lot going on, which I got some got a little choice conversation of words in reference to what's going on. I won't get right into it. So what we'll do, we'll go over and talk about the scores and stuff like that, little things here and there, and we'll tap into it there and then as we come across it. I know a lot of times Bishop try to say that I go in and I have a bias avenue, but I'm legitly going down the list as I know it. First and foremost, NBA action. Y'all seen it last night. The Cleveland Cavaliers faced off against the Orlando Magic in Orlando. Orlando had an opportunity to stay alive and continue to drive on as they continue to try to get into the play-in. That was about as close as they can get. The Magic last night, led by Markelle Fultz, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists on the night, 17 points apiece from Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter double-double with 12 rebounds and 3 assists to go along. 17 points, as I stated, 6 rebounds, 1 assist from Franz Wagner. His brother contributed with 4 points. 20 points from Paolo Banchero on 10 rebounds, 4 assists shooting last night. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Cole Anthony, 10 points from Gaga Bitstar. And sailing Jalen Suggs with 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. The Cavaliers last night, led by Donovan Mitchell's 4th consecutive 40-point game. That has not been done in Cleveland since the days of LeBron James. 43 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 19 points, 3 rebounds from Caris LeVert. Evan Mobley, 14.7 rebounds, 4 assists. Dean Wade, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Jarrett Allen, 12.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks. Darius Garland, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 points from LeVar Stevens. Rubio with 3 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. And C.D. Osman's 2 points, 2 rebounds, as the Cleveland Cavaliers get the W by the score of 117-113. With that win, the Cleveland Cavaliers hit the 50-point mark. Correction, the 50 win mark for the year, basically solidifying and locking up their fourth seed in the Eastern Conference, and the same time, the same breath, eliminating the Orlando Magic from play-in contention. Now the Orlando Magic sit out and just watch and basically regroup. It's kind of bad when you look at it. I think I'll say bad, but it's just an unfortunate situation for Orlando Magic team that had an opportunity. They went forth, competed as best they can in that competition. Is going to potentially put them down the totem pole as far as when it comes into the lottery. They were in contention, so you're looking at the lower half of that 14 lottery picks. But the fortunate thing for Orlando is they're going to have 2 picks in the top 10, in the top 14. So they may depend on the other team finishing, their chances in the lottery might be a little bit greater than others. Cleveland continues on, which we'll talk about it later, about their season and where they stand and how it goes with the update, with our daily update of the NBA playoff race. And our beat goes on. The Miami Heat faced off against the Detroit Pistons. As we talked about, the Detroit Pistons have nothing more to play for except for to play spoiler to any team in which they go up against. In this particular time, the Miami Heat was that particular team, as the Pistons, led by Jaden Ivey's 30 points, 4 rebounds, 76 game, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist from Jalen Duren, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Isaiah Livers, 14.6 rebounds, 1 assist, James Wiseman, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, Eugene Amarori, RJ Hampton, 2.3 rebounds on the night, 7 points, 1 rebound, 8 assists for Killian Hayes, Corey Joseph with 6 points and 1 rebound for the Pistons. For the Heat, another blistering game. Jimmy Butler, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Gabe Vincent with the assist, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. 18 points apiece from Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero with 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Bam, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on his night. Max Strus with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And last but not least, Kyle Lowry, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, as the Miami Heat gets the victory by the score of 118-105. That game gives them their 42nd win on the year. Pistons fall to their 63rd loss. Miami continues to chase after the 6th-seeded Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. However, if they can't catch them, then of course they stay at the 7th seed, to where they are due to face off against that 8th seed in the East. Not as bad, but of course, in my opinion, everyone wants to be with a guaranteed spot, because you never know what can happen from that 7 to 10 play-in when the season ends. Continuing on, the Toronto Raptors and Charlotte Hornets got it in over the course of the weekend, over the course of the night, in which Toronto continues to keep pace at this point. 3 games remaining on the season for them. They get it in last night against the Hornets. The Hornets put up a good effort. Wasn't the best. It didn't end the best. But they were led by Bryce McGowan, 20.6 rebounds, 3 assists. 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for Theo Madelon, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for Mikalu, 13.7 rebounds, 1 assist from JT Thor, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, Nick Richards, 8 points from James Boatwright, Kai Jones with 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, Kobe Simmons, 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and lastly, Xavier Sneed with 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist on the night. However, the Raptors are getting empty in the clip, I guess you could say, so to speak. 7 players in double figures, led by Pascal Siakam's 22-point, 14 rebound, 1 assist performance, 21 points, 2 rebounds from Chris Boucher. Will Barton contributed with 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 12 points, 4 rebounds for Precious Achiuwa. OG Anunoby, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Jakob Poeltl, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Scotty Barnes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And Fred VanVleet with a 16.1 rebounds, 6 assists night, all leading up to the victory for the Toronto Raptors by the score of 120-100. With that dub, it puts Toronto on a 40-game plateau, 40 games on the year. Opportunity to finish up with 3 more, finish 43-39. 2 games short of finishing with a winning record. We'll see what happens for the Charlotte Hornets. Of course, their 54th loss of the year. 26-54. We already know they're playing or going into the lottery with the opportunity to potentially pull down that the ping pong ball that solidifies them as the number 1 overall team pick. It's going to be a little hectic. But again, as we talked about yesterday briefly, does that necessarily mean that Victor Wembanyama becomes that pick? Again, does a team pick for what fits them or who is best overall? And then, of course, it comes down to what's that decision of who believes that that's the best overall. It remains to be seen. Same, of course, more game on the docket, so let's continue. The Washington Wizards looked pretty potent at the beginning of the year, as a lot of teams did. They was doing their best to get into the playoffs, as they have not been in the playoffs since Russell Westbrook. Of course, on the other side of the spectrum, the Milwaukee Bucks, they have been a consistent team in the last couple of years. Small money market, but yet huge, large market talent. They did better last night in Washington with the Wizards. Leader Jonathan Davis, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists from Jay Huff. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists from Jordan Godwin. Corey Kispert, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Anthony Gill, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And Daniel Gafford, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Kendrick Nunn, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 10 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound from Quentin Jackson on the night. On the other side of on the court, 7 players, double figures, as we discussed the other day. That's 7 players. 7 players or more in double figures tend to always end up with a W in that win column for that team. Triple-double for Giannis Antetokounmpo, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, marking his 6th triple-double of the year for the 2-time NBA champion, defensive player of the year, and currently in contention for this year's MVP. Jrue Holiday, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, just 1 point off of yet another triple-double. Jay Crowder, 19 points, 9 rebounds on the night. Brook Lopez, 20 points, 1 assist. 19 points, 20 rebounds, 4 assists from Bobby Portis. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, Joe Ingles. And Goran Dragic with 2 points, 1 rebounds, 3 assists. 5 points from Marjon Beauchamp. And when you count it up, it equals 140 points scored by the Milwaukee Bucks to the Washington Wizards 128. Another W for the Milwaukee Bucks as they continue their track on pace potentially to get a 60-win season, just 3 wins short in their last game, which would mean they would have to close it out 3 consecutive wins to reach that mark. 57-22 on the year, still holding on to that number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference, as well as potentially the NBA with the top record, solidify home court advantage throughout the playoffs for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Wizards, of course, falling into, again, the lottery with opportunity to better their roster with some young talent pending their selection. So the beat goes on. Moving on into New Orleans, as the Pelicans hosted the Sacramento Kings. As we all know, the Pelicans are locked in the race to stay, a couple of races, honestly. The race to trying to keep their position in the play-in, holding off any team that's below them, as well as chasing the teams above them, trying to see if they can make a last-ditch effort to get into the playoffs outright and not have to worry about a play-in. In which the chances got a little more dimmer last night as they faced off with the Sacramento Kings for the Pelicans, led by Brandon Ingram's 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists from Trey Murphy III, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, Jonas Valanciunas, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists from CJ McCollum, Herb Jones with 11 rebounds, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 points from Larry Nance. Dyson Downs, 12 points, 4 rebounds on the night, 2 points from Kira Lewis, and Josh Richardson, 3 points for the Sacramento Kings, clinching the Pacific West Division that they haven't done in over, I think, 16 years or more. But of course, you can't always count everyone out. We know the usual suspects. It just didn't happen for them. It happened for the Kings this year. Shout out to the Mike Brown going there and making it work. Last night, of course, it was led by De'Aaron Fox, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. A triple-double for Domantas Sabonis, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists on the night, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists from Malik Monk. Kevin Huerter contributed 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist from rookie Keegan Murray. Harrison Barnes, 16 points, 1 rebound. Davion Mitchell, 8 points, 1 rebound, 4 points from Alex Len, 3 points from Terrence Davis. PJ Dozier contributed with 2 points, all for a W in New Orleans for the Sacramento Kings, winning 121-103. The Kings currently locked in at the number 3 seed, trying to do what they can, but it's looked like that's where they're going to stay, 48-31. For the Pelicans, 40-39, battling in that Western Conference play-in threshold, as I said, 7 through 10, looking kind of tight. It's getting a little tighter and tighter as it goes. Only a couple teams still left that's even in contention for those spots, as well as the ones that are in those spots. It's getting late in the season, and we're going to see how that ends up turning out. Moving on, Minnesota pulled up to Brooklyn to see where it's at. Brooklyn Nets hosted the Minnesota Timberwolves on a night in which Spencer Dinwiddie went for 30 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 24 points from a hot streaking, and this guy is really starting to shoot. And Mikal Bridges, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 14 points apiece from Dorian Finney-Smith and Cameron Johnson. Smith with a double-double with 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Cameron Johnson, 4 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with his 14 points on the night. Nick Claxton, 6 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist from Joe Harris. Royce O'Neal, 8.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 point for Seth Curry. And for the Timberwolves, they were led by Karl Anthony Towns, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists from Anthony Edwards, 18 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist from Mike Conley Jr., Jaden Daniels, 15.6 rebounds, Rudy Gobert, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, Kyle Anderson, 8 points, 10 assists, 1 rebound, Taurean Prince with 7 points, Nickeil Alexander Walker, 2 points, 2 rebounds, all for the win for the Timberwolves in a tight battle back and forth. They came out pretty hot. Brooklyn held them off for a second. They got back in the lead, 107-102 for the Timberwolves, now 40-40, 500 on the year with just 2 games remaining, trying to utilize those 2, make them work as they tried to put put themselves in position to get back to that 2 seed, but I think that's out of reach currently. They're fighting to just remain in the play-in for opportunity to play their way into the playoffs. For the Brooklyn Nets, they still are in contention, holding on to that 6th seed with a tight grip in the Eastern Conference, 43-36. Now 3 games remaining on their schedule for them to solidify that solidify their spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, and it's crazy. I just gave them a compliment to talk about how they're keeping pace, and then they go and lose. Go figure. Another game last night, the Portland Trailblazers pulled up into Memphis with the intentions of making it hard for the Grizzlies to catch the Denver Nuggets. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists from Skylar Mays. Shaedon Sharpe continues his blitz to show that he is a problem. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on the night. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist from Shaquille Harrison. 10 points, 5 rebounds, John Butler. 16.6 rebounds, 1 assist to Jabari Parker. 8 points from Drew Rebanks. Kevin Knox with 6 points and 6 rebounds on the night. Jonathan Williams, 4 points, 1 rebounds, 3 assists. And Justin Minor, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists as the Trailblazers continue to play the games which is on their schedules. As we already know, they shut down their top players. Go ahead, giving them a rest, conceding to any potential possibility of them getting into the play-ins as they've been eliminated since last week. But an opportunity for them young players to now kind of see what it is that they can show and what they have, and competing night after night against these teams. On the other hand, the Grizzlies, Desmond Bane, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists from Ja Morant. Luke Kennard contributed 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Jaren Jackson Jr., Triple J, 17.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Xavier Tillman with 4 rebounds and 1 assist. Santi Aldama, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. 3 points, Kenny Lofton Jr. as he got a chance, as Kenny Lofton Jr. is the NBA G League's player of rookie of the year. So of course he gets called up and gets opportunity to get some burn. I'm very sure we're gonna see a lot of him, or somewhat see him in the playoffs as well. John Conchar, 3 points, 1 rebound. Tyus Jones, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. And lastly, David Roddy with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, all to count it up as a Memphis dub. With that W, the Memphis Grizzlies get their 50th win on the season. 3 games still remaining. Portland drops to 33-46, unfortunately, and continue on. Maybe an opportunity to. They're going into the lottery, so of course they have a chance for their ping pong ball to fall at the right time to give them an opportunity to select the aforementioned Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Williams, anyone, you know what I'm saying, at the end state that makes them feel like they have the opportunity to secure a key player to push their ability to get into the playoffs and win championships along for their franchise. Continue on. Just 6 more games. Let's start here. The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks came in this game against the Bulls with them on their mind that they could help the Bulls avoid securing a spot in the play-in. The Bulls came in with it on their mind that they can better their chances to secure a spot in the play-in. So that means only one team was able to put forth the effort to get a W to do that. On the night, the Bulls tandem of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine put up 47 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. The majority of that from Zach LaVine, 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. If you deduct 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists from DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Beverley contributed with 11 points, 2 rebounds on the night, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists from Nikola Vucevic. Alex Caruso, 5 rebounds, 1 assist in 19 minutes to play. Kobe White, 7 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 points apiece from Andre Drummond and Marko Slivovic, 2 points from Dalen Terry. Patrick Williams, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. If you move over to the opposite team on the court that night, 26 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists from the hot shooting Bogdan Bogdanovic, 13 points, 14 rebounds. Clint Capel battling on the boards. DeJounte Murray, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. Sadiq Bey, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. John Collins, 9.6 rebounds, 2 assists. 2 points apiece from Vic, Fernando, and Forrest. And Onyeka Okongwu, 6.6 rebounds, 11.6 rebounds, 1 assist, all for what ended up being a win for the Atlanta Hawks, winning 123 to 105. With that win, the Hawks move up to 40 and 39. The Bulls fall to 38 and 41, in which, in this case, though, the Bulls still ended up clinching a playoff play-in berth due to the loss of one of their counterparts, in which we're going to get to momentarily. Denver Nuggets and the Rockets faced off last night. When we talk about this, it sounds like it would just be a clean sweep. We already know who got the W, who walked away with the L. For the Rockets, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists from Jalen Green, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, Kevin Porter, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7-6 for Alperen Sengun, 16 points, 13 rebounds, Jabari Smith, Kenyon Martin Jr., 12 points, 5 rebounds on the night, 10 points, 3 rebounds, Josh Christopher, Tari Eason with 7 points, 11 rebounds, 3 points, 8 rebounds for Usman Garuba. The Nuggets, walking them back, Nikola Jokic, as he had been out a couple of games. What's good, brother? What's going on, Anthony Price? Glad to have information this morning, fam. What's going on with you, brother? Nikola Jokic back as we will listen and watch and see team players continue to creep on him. What was expected to be his MVP season, yet another one. We don't know how it's going to go, but he did come back last night. 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. 23.7 rebounds, 1 assist from Michael Porter. Aaron Gordon contributed 13 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists from Peyton Watson, 7 points apiece from Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Jordan. Jeff Green, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on the night. Christian Braun, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Bruce Brown Jr., 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And Jamal Murray lastly, 2 points, 4 assists, all for what amounted to be a loss. The Nuggets smacked up by the Rockets by the score of 124 to 103. With that loss, the Nuggets fall to 52 and 27. Just 3 games remaining for them to potentially get to a 55-game season, 55-game win season. The Rockets, just 2 games remaining on their season, already in the lottery selection process pool, and we'll see how their odds ends up when it comes time to those ping pongs. But a considerate effort. They continue to battle and fight. My thought process is, does Steven Silas continue to get the opportunity to right that ship, or do we get a situation to where the Rockets ownership or leadership are going to be looking to greener pastures to bring in someone else that they feel can get the job done? Remains to be seen. But in case, 4 more games to bring up on the docket. The Oklahoma City Thunder with an opportunity to better their chances in the playoffs, as well as harm the Warriors in theirs. Thunder, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists from Jalen Williams, a dynamic rookie in the making. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists from Isaiah Joe. Josh Giddey, 15.6 rebounds, 5 assists. Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, with a Y, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists from Lou Dort. Aaron Wiggins comparing with 11 points, 3 points apiece from Deane and Butler, 5 points from Sark, and 2 from Trey Mann. For the Warriors, they was led by Steph Curry, surged 34 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 30 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists from Jordan Poole. Draymond Green, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist from Jonathan Kuminga as he continues to seemingly come into his own and continue to get on the boards, continue to show that he can be a presence, a huge presence. Gary Payton II contribute 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist as he starts to get into his own as well, coming back off his injury and getting some playing time. Moses Moody, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Kevin Looney, 4 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. Dante DiVincenzo, 16.6 rebounds, 5 assists. Patrick Baldwin, 1 rebound. And Lester Quinones, 1 point. In the absence of Klay Thompson, of course, Andrew Wiggins still currently out, but looks forward to being back in playing contention very soon, probably next week. The Golden State Warriors get the win, 136-125. Of course, with that win, they jump the Los Angeles Clippers over the Los Angeles Clippers to put them in the fifth spot. With that loss, because the Clippers didn't play, they moved down to the sixth spot, and the Lakers sit just behind, which is going to be key in a potential matchup that's coming up with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Clippers tonight, as the winner will definitely have a solidified position in the play-in, or will have the front runner being solidified in the outside the play-in in the actual playoffs. What do you say? A full, healthy Warriors team. I smell greatest in the playoffs. You know what, Anthony? I was looking at that, and I think me and Coach Kyle talked about it yesterday. In a Warrior team, it can't be counted out. It's just clear and concise. You can't cut out the Warriors for the most part in that aspect. If they continue to click and get back to where they have, like you say, a healthy squad, or anyone, all these teams for the most part, have a healthy squad, is going to make for entertaining, and where it might be where you don't know who is who. You would think of course, we think highly of certain teams like the Suns. They have the best winning streak currently. They're currently haven't lost a game that Kevin Durant has played in since he's gotten to Phoenix. So you have to take a look at that. But the Warriors have the potential to scorch the Nets and get hot. 3 hot shooters in Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. You have bangers in Moody, Kuminga, and Looney. You have an X factor in Wiggins, so when he comes back and he locks back in, you have an X factor in him. They got a lot. Dante DiVincenzo, he can get you points in certain spots. They got a lot, so you might be on something where you say that there's a very grave possibility that the Warriors can walk away, come out from the obscurity. And I haven't even mentioned the Draymond Green, as we know he gets it done in many different sorts. So they can climb up from the ashes and do that. 8 losses at home over the course of the season. So that's key. But then again, those losses on the road, so them going in potentially as a lower seeded team puts them on the road. We don't know what that might look like. So, but hey, stranger things have happened, but they are starting to click, fight, and keep that fight alive. 3 more games, of course, like just before mentioned, team, the Phoenix Suns hosted the San Antonio Spurs. As we know, the San Antonio Spurs have already been in the lower part of the NBA, not just the West, but the NBA, already eliminated from playoff contention, already looking at those bouncing balls in those pressure right bats. The Spurs last night, led by Malachi Branham's 21 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists from Trey Jones. 13 points apiece from Diop and Max Shavili. 10 points from Champagne. 4 points from Dieng. 2 points apiece from McDermott and Barlow. But it wasn't enough. Let's just get to it. It wasn't I believe in the fairy tale kids on this particular night. The Phoenix Suns continue to do damage. Devin Booker led the field, 27.7 rebounds, 3 assists. 22 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists from Chris Paul. Kevin Durant contributed with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. 19 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist from DeAndre Ayton. Bismack Biyombo contributed with 10 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Josh Okogie, 1 point on the night. 6 rebounds from Terrence Ross. 3 apiece from Landry Shamet and TJ Warren. Damian Lee, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Jock Landale and Wainwright with 1 point and 1 rebound apiece, all for a win. 21-point differential as the Suns improved to 44-35 with the hold on the 4th seed currently. San Antonio currently locked in for a potential to be the number 1 overall selecting team in this year's NBA draft. We'll continue to see how that goes and how that plays off. As we know, we still have to go through the lottery show, and then, of course, at the lottery show, the actual NBA draft. 2 more teams left to talk about, in which these two had the most glaring factor in the case. So, of course, I will go with the Lakers. I think the Celtics is the better of the two. When you look at it, the Los Angeles Lakers faced off last night against the Utah Jazz, a Utah Jazz team without Lauri Markkanen, as well as Jordan Clarkson. So you just knew a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis would be just a shoe way in. Looking forward to a matchup with the Clippers. And that's not what it came. Of course, LA is still without D'Angelo Russell, who is expected to possibly pull up and play tonight versus the Clippers. But last night, Utah Jazz, led by Talen Horton-Tucker's 23.7, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. In the last 4 to 6 games, Talen Horton is averaging 31 points. Of course, we all know that Horton used to be a Los Angeles Laker, drafted by the Lakers, so he has a championship with the Lakers. 23.7 rebounds, 7 assists for Kelly Olynyk. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists from Ochai Agbaji, their rookie sensation. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist from Damian Jones. 15 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists from Colin Sexton. Fonchio, 6 points, 4 points from Juan Toscano Alexander, just a Laker this past season. Azubuike, 5 points, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Samanek, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Chris Dunn, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on the night. The Lakers, led by LeBron James, 37 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 28 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists from Austin Reeves, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists from Dennis Schroeder. Anthony Davis contributed 14 rebounds, 21 points, 6 assists. Ryo Hachimura, 17.6 rebounds, 1 assist. Malik Beasley, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Wayne Gabriel, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Troy Brown Jr., 3 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Jared Vanderbilt with 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. In what was an overtime win, the Lakers squeaked past the Utah Jazz 41-38. With just 3 games remaining on the schedule, the Lakers will see Utah again this season to close out the season, actually. What can you say in-state is? Like, it's a win. A win is a win in-state. It was a much-needed win as for the Lakers to continue to keep pace for the opportunity to get into the actual playoff. However, as I mentioned in the beginning of this, the Lakers were without – the Lakers were without D'Angelo Russell, true in fact. But the Utah Jazz were without their top 2 players in Jordan Clarkson and Lauri Markkanen. And they kept pace, pushing them to the overtime, to where now on a night in which it would have been so much beneficial for them to have been able to rest LeBron James and Anthony Davis a little bit, them additional minutes get played. Now you have a situation to where potentially now the training staff has to go over, the coaching staff have to go over and look and think about, do we play LeBron and Anthony Davis on this back-to-back? What's at stake? A 6 seed um, for the Lakers to get into that 6 seed. All they need is a win. That catapult them over the Clippers. And then that puts them right back behind the Golden State Warriors for a potential 5th seed, putting some more distance between them and those teams that's trying to get in directly into the playoffs as opposed to the play-in. A win puts the Clippers in the play-in, where they would have to face off against, I think, us New Orleans Pelicans at this point. So it's very interesting. So I wonder, what will the Lakers do? Do they go ahead and throw errors to the caution, or throw error to the caution to the wind, and play Anthony Davis and LeBron James? Anthony Davis has not played the second game of a back-to-back since, I think, October or November or something like that. So that's not what they do currently. And then of course we know LeBron just coming back off that the foot injury that may or may not still require some recovery. So to put him, after playing 38 minutes yesterday, Anthony Davis 42 minutes, do they run it back and play those two superstars again? Health causes, do they get scratched? Do they just reduce the minutes? I don't know. I think, in my personal opinion, not just from an aspect of being a Lakers fan, but just in the aspect of just being an NBA fan, or just the aspect of the possibility, I think you suit them up and you control their minutes. If you feel like there's an opportunity to sit them, then you sit them and let them, and don't worry about playing. Uh, if not, then you give them certain spurts here and there so that it can stay warm. They can keep their body kind of loose and can play. So that's what you're faced with. The Lakers do get the win, though, 135 to 133, 41-38 on the year. The Utah Jazz fall to 36-43. They had such promise as initially. They were clicking and doing well. Of course, like I said, course of the season, those games start to wear on you. Teams start to get better, and some teams get exposed for what it is. Lastly, of course, the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. This was a game that pitted the number 2 seeded team in the tournament against the number 3 seeded team in this upcoming tournament, that is the NBA playoffs. Best of 7 series. With this game, of course, already the Boston Celtics had a 1-up on the Philadelphia 76ers, already have walked away with 3 games, looking to add the 4th game to that tally, to which they would have given them an opportunity to have a clean sweep of said team. Of course, as we know, Joel Embiid in his campaign for MVP, highest scoring center in the NBA currently. I think he's the leading scorer in the NBA as well. Looking for an opportunity to lock up the MVP for the first time. He's been the runner-up the last couple of years. So now he's looking to claim it for himself. The Boston Celtics is led by Derek White's 26.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 19 points from Jason Tatum, 6 rebounds, 6 assists to go along. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists from Al Horford. Grant Williams, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists from Marcus Smart. Luke Cornett with 3 rebounds, 1 assist on the night. 5 rebounds, 1 assist from Blake Griffin. And Mike Muscala, 4 points, 4 assists on the night. For the 76ers, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists from James Harden. Tobias Harris, 5 rebounds, 5.6 rebounds, 2 assists. PJ Tucker, 11 points, 2 rebounds. Tyrese Maxey, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. 8 points from Jalen McDaniels. Paul Reed with 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. DeAnthony Melton, 1 rebound. But Joel Embiid, a double-double, 52 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists on a night in which his team scored 103 points. He had 50% of those points and willed the Philadelphia 76 to a win, staging off the opportunity for it to be a sweep. 103-101, Philadelphia 76ers get the dub. In the post-game comments, of course, Doc Rivers, Glenn, you may know him as, alluded to say that the MVP race is over. Joel Embiid basically just solidified that with his 52-point win. So it goes back to this, right? We have talked about this and had a conversation plenty of times in which we have asked, and wonder is, does those type of games equate to awards? Is it that you're supposed to be the top player on your team, filling up just consistent, just filling up bucket after bucket after bucket? Does that allude to you being the player deserving of that hardware? What's good, Brad? What's going on, Lestan? Glad to have you information this morning, brother. How are you doing? What's up? What's good with you? Does that allude to players having getting crowned MVPs and stuff like that because you are putting up the most points or your squad? We've had this conversation before. So why is it that when Embiid, he fills up the basket, he gets the points, and now he's being crowned, okay, he's the MVP. Head to head against Jason Tatum. Like you said, Jason Tatum, not the best of nights. His running mate wasn't there. Jason Tatum, 19 points on the night, shut down a little bit. Jaylen Brown wasn't there to take some of that sting off, but Derek White did contribute. Derek White had an opportunity to put the game away late in the game, winning hours as he was fouled on a 3-point where he could have went to the line for the 3-point play, but it was ruled that it wasn't a foul. He only got the 3 points. Of course, Philly definitely goes down, gets another opportunity as Joel Embiid fouls. Was it White or Grant Williams or one of them holding his arm? Sends the Boston Celtics to the line, and yet again they squandered another opportunity. But it did come down close to it as Jason Tatum did have the ball in his hands with an opportunity to send the game into overtime. Just missing on the back iron off a little bit with his corner perimeter shot, and Boston takes the L, losing like I said, 103-101, 54-25 for the Celtics, 52-27 for the 76ers. But then we are speaking about Joel Embiid being the MVP. Not taking anything from him. What's good, sis? What's going on, Kanik? Glad to have you from formation this morning. I hope your morning is going as glorious as well. But yeah, so I don't agree with that. I don't think in this particular aspect for that it should be that. Like, just because is Embiid making this team better? Is the team better with Embiid scoring those type of points? It's a little bit different when you have players that are putting up numbers, large numbers, as well as distribution and rebounds and stuff like that. Like what we initially seen with Luka Doncic. We've seen it before with Russell Westbrook when he won his MVP. And then, of course, Nikola Jokic when he's currently a triple-double machine. Maybe if Joel Embiid is able to claim this year's coveted MVP, then it's going to I think it would definitely become at the detriment that Jokic was out those games. But what might come of it, look, Jokic, if he goes hard these last 3 games, does he snatch back that position to say that he is the MVP? I'm very sure the voting has already been put in, and we're going to start to see how those things come about. In your opinion, is Joel Embiid the MVP? Is it Jokic? Is it Giannis? Giannis still is putting up some pretty good numbers. So it's I don't know. In any case, another teams are doing what they need to do. The Bucks, with that win last night, and the Celtics Hawks moved 3 games ahead of the Boston Celtics for that number 1 spot in the NBA as well as the Eastern Conference. So one loss will solidify that for the Milwaukee Bucks. The 76ers sit just 2 games behind the Celtics. So they're still in contention to potentially even jump and get to that 2nd seed in the East. In any case, a East that will make a 2nd round lockup with the 1 and 2 team. The Philadelphia 76ers just have a 2.5 game deficit over the Cleveland Cavaliers. But like I said, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are locked in at that 4 spot. The Knicks sit just 4. So yeah, it's almost just guaranteed to solidify in the East for the most part. So, Bucks and Celtics still contending. Celtics and 76ers still contending. And then after that, it's just all locked up. The number 4 seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. The number 5 seeded New York Knicks. The 6 seeded Brooklyn Nets, as they hold a 1 game advantage over the Miami Heat, who are still chasing and trying to get to them 3 games. Remember, for the Heat, as well as 3 games for the Nets. They can do well for the Nets to lose last night, and the Heat to get the W. The Atlanta Hawks are 2 games out. 3 games out. So if the Nets was to go on the losing streak, the Hawks was to heat up, they have a possibility of jumping and getting into that 6th seed and getting out of the play-in. Last but not least, the Raptors and the Bulls secure their positions in the play-in, which means the Wizards, Pacers, and Magic all eliminated from contention. So at this point, it's just a battle for who is going to be. There's mainly a battle between the 6 and 10 seeds to see if there's going to be any movement, jostling around for players, as they all currently sit with 3 games left on their schedule. Bulls at the 10, Raptors at the 9, Hawks at 8, Heat at 7, all with just a few games in between them to see. So it's a little tight in the East, but nothing like that in the West, as the Nuggets remain just 2 games in front of the Grizzlies. But of course, taking L's is not a good diet for a team that's trying to secure a number 1 seed. The Grizzlies, 2 games, like I said, 2 games back. Currently seeing that the Kings sit just 2 games behind them with 3 games remaining. So that's still a thing. The Phoenix Suns currently at the 4 seed, 4 games behind the Kings. So they're not going to be able to catch them with 3 games remaining. But they can be caught by the Golden State Warriors if that was to happen. I think a game in which the Kings, one of the games in which the Suns have is a game against the Lakers. So the Lakers, they have the Lakers have Utah. Have the Clippers tonight, then the Kings, then the Utah Jazz to fill out the season. So the Suns still have some playing to do. Can't sit back on the laurels yet. Do they finish the season with an additional 3 wins? Are they able to hold that off to solidify their 4th seed? Maybe. We'll see. The Warriors, like I said, at the 5 seed with the win last night. The Clippers currently hanging on to that 6th seed. Lakers hot on their trails as they're both tied with an opportunity to take a overall lead with the win tonight. The Pelicans sit just a game behind the Lakers for that 7th seed. Timberwolves 1.5 games behind for that 7th seed. The Thunder 2.5 games behind for that seed. The Jazz is getting close. They're a game and a half out of that 10th spot. A half game for the Mavericks. So 2 teams remain in contention for a play-in position, but a loss will set that back. the Mavericks. There was conversations in reference to shutting Luka down. They said that's not going to happen. Luka's not going to get shut down. They're going to continue to play him. Luka said as long as the Mavericks have an opportunity to be a play-in team, he's going to continue to play. It brung up. They brung in Kyrie Irving, which you thought things is going to be on the up and up. Currently 3-10 when him and Kyrie play together. That's not too becoming, especially when you have a talent like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. He got him a help in the backcourt, and they can't seem to get it together. I wonder what does that do for the team going forth if they don't get into the play-in and they have to basically pack it up and start looking towards next year. We know Kyrie Irving will be a free agent. Is what he has seen enough to wet his whistle to where he feels as though they can do some things in Dallas. Is it still Jason Kidd's opportunity team to even be able to go forth and teach them or and play with them? They don't know at this point. But it's not looking too good for Dallas. Sitting behind the Thunder and Timberwolves. A lot could go on tonight. However, it could be a lot of changes for the most part. As tonight's slate of games has 8, the New York Knicks and Pacers will be facing off at this point. The Knicks are good in the playoffs. The Pacers are eliminated. They're just playing spoiler. Same thing with Detroit and Brooklyn locking up tonight in Detroit. You know what? That's a good question. And I would think that Jason Kidd wanted Kyrie. He might not have wanted Kyrie and Luka at the same time, but I'm very sure he was open to having Kyrie. He's a guard. Guards like guards, I'm sure, but he might have honestly looked at the chemistry with Kyrie and Luka probably isn't the best, in which I'm very sure he's going to address or have to look to get into or fixing late later in this year, or as they plan for next year. If Jason Kidd is even still there, I don't know what Mark Cuban might be looking at. But like I said, the New York Knicks will lock up with the Pacers tonight. Additionally, on the Pistons and the Brooklyn Nets get it in. As we just talked about, the new Brooklyn Nets need an opportunity to continue to win, to kind of keep the distance before they fall out of that 6th seed if Miami continues to win. The Hawks and Wizards get it in. Wizards already out of playoff contention, so again, they're just playing spoiler for the most part to a Hawks team to trying to lock up their seeding and not fall deeper into the play-in. I guess being the 7th or 8th slot isn't as bad as it seems. If you win, you go on and keep the position in which you earned initially. You lose, you got to play. You got a 50-50 chance of being bounced out because you have to play against you have to play another game. Chicago Bulls and Milwaukee Bucks. You will almost think this is going to be an easy game for the Bucks, but you don't know what the fight of the Bulls might be. Toronto and Boston, another one of those type of games where you look at teams in the already in the playoffs versus teams in the play-in, looking to get in the playoffs. Do you rest players? Do you kind of like sit back? The Celtics still in a possible race to get the 2 seed. What if What if Chicago gets a dub over Milwaukee? Celtics potentially can close the gap with the win over the Raptors. So can't no one rest back on their laurels. The Grizzlies and the Pelicans, of course. The Pelicans fighting tooth and nail to sit up and get back or stay in the play-in. Every win they gets a little more, gives them a little more distance to make that happen. There's already been talks about Zion Williamson being evaluated to see if he's ready to come back and be ready to play, with the possibility to even get in and play these games or the last couple of games of the season, or 2, just get in back into playing shape for an opportunity to play in the play-in, or if the team is able to be victorious without them, get in and play in the playoffs, which might be a whole problem. We have not seen that, but that could be a problem. But Grizzlies and Pelicans face off tonight. The Kings and the Mavericks. Kings already good. Mavericks scratching. A win goes a long way for the Mavericks. A loss, however, might eliminate them. Brooklyn versus Philly first round. Possibly. That's not going to be the best, unfortunately. But that's lost the sting now that Ben is gone, KD's gone, and Kyrie's gone. It doesn't even have that type of ring to it. It'd just be James Harden dispatching another squad, him and Embiid and Maxey, taking care of a squad in which one of them played for. Or you blink and they could lose. That would be a hell of a story. All that going on just to simply lose in the first round to a team that is for lack of a better word, not too many, no all-stars or superstars on their squad. And then, of course, last but not least, the Los Angeles Lakers. Crypto.com face off. Lakers have an opportunity to right the ship, jump out the play-in into the playoffs, and move up. So a lot potentially at stake and going on. It's just we'll see how it all pans out by the end of the night. And see what we'll be talking about come tomorrow morning. So just got to stay tuned in. Check it out. Of course, in other news, NBA, Mike Malone, the head coach for the Denver Nuggets, has been saying that he is he's challenging his Nuggets, which he used choice words when he discussed his team, soft Nuggets after their blowout, in which he basically had wondered what is it, where's the fight at? He's playing soft. I'm very sure a lot of grown men, individuals, even just a grown individual, doesn't want to you have the term soft utilized to them, especially when it can be seen as a negative connotation in their when you're talking about them. That's a man or woman. But you come down the stretch, and this has been what the rhetoric has been. This has been the whole talk and what has always been said about the Denver Nuggets. They do what they do during the regular season. They get into the playoffs and they falter. They become a whole different team in which they fall off. That was under Malone. Alonzo said the Lakers lose tonight. Golden State will split, and it will go. I think we got a good chance, Lonzo. I really think. I think finally we're going to slay that dragon, and we're going to put in that work, and they will get into the 6th seed currently. Now, if they hold the 6th seed, that is a different story. But I do think we get into the 6th seed because I think what the problem is going to lie in that is basically we're going to have to find a median to where we can try to sit AD and LB, and that might not be feasible. But, I mean, getting back D'Angelo Russell might help. That might help soften the blow a little bit to where, like, be okay. But I think they're looking at to see where they can get that time at. It might not come to the last game of the season to where they can sit them down unless they've lost everything. But we definitely know tonight is not the night to where they can sit them. They're going to have to need everything they can get out of them. PG still sitting out currently. Kawhi, we all know he's probably going to play. And then you got Westbrook, Vika, and all of them. So potentially, what do you define as luck, Anthony? What do you define luck? How do we get luck? Why is it that that Utah got lucky to even go to overtime because LeBron missed that layup in the closing seconds of regulation? Why is it that we got lucky? Why didn't Utah get lucky to even have an opportunity to play in the overtime? But yeah, Belonzo. Well, I think LA's good. I don't think we lose tonight. I think if we lose, it won't come till we play Phoenix. If we lose, I think we can go 2-1 in the last 3 games, even 3-0. That is so true. They did not. But again, neither did Russell. D'Angelo Russell didn't play for the Lakers last night. He's a key player. He's a key cog. Markkanen and Clarkson didn't play last night. Understandable. In which that's probably what allowed the Lakers to even be in that position that they got caught slipping. So maybe you're saying different things set different mindsets. So maybe they thought it was maybe they thought it was Candyland, and they just thought they was gonna walk into Utah and take care of business and then get up out of there. I mean, being Utah was gonna come in there and they was gonna be able to deflect Utah and looking for maybe they took it too far ahead to the next game in the Clippers, thinking that we're gonna go ahead and get this dub minimum minutes played as best, and then they find themselves in the dog fight, and they can work out. So, but I think we got a good chance tonight. Maybe, but I think 2 games we lose. I mean, I think 2 games we win. One potentially losing. I don't think tonight is a loss. I think we get the W tonight against a city rival and keep it pushing. Play Phoenix the following day and come back and play Utah. And that's a factor as well. But I think we got a good chance. Coach Wayne definitely think it's going to go down. Hopefully they will. Last night, Austin Reeves is starting to show that he's a problem, a third option, regardless of who's on the roster. But again, D'Angelo Russell did not play as well. Malik Beasley didn't have a great game, so it's a lot of factors, which is going to be up and down. But I think we got a pretty good chance tonight. I'm saying it now. Lakers get the win by 12. Lakers by 12 tonight over the Clippers on a back-to-back. And I think that's feasible. I think that's a possibility. Only depending on where they're at. If we're still in contention to make some mistake, Coach, I think they continue to play, or they look and see where they can get the game in hand and then let them rest. But if we if they can beat the Clippers tonight and mess around and beat the Suns on the following game, then I think LeBron and AD sit versus Utah. And then we see Austin Reeves go off. D'Angelo Russell probably go off. Malik Beasley go off. So I think that's a good assessment. But I don't see it sitting prior to that. I think we definitely see them tonight, and we see them versus Philly. Versus Phoenix, as opposed to anything else. He's good, and he's good. We got it. Y'all just keep on thinking about what Coach Wayne said the other day. LA wins the championship, and this is where it starts at. Our opportunity, plenty of opportunities to for us now. Be out to play, kind of get a little, and that's some more rest. Not have to worry about the tournament, having a little rest in the tournament, and then coming in to see first to see those tournament games, and then get ready to play after that. I think that's key. You see something. Coach. I think Rob Pelinka this shit. Speaking of giving Pelinka GM of the year, that man deserves his flowers. You think he's the GM of the year, really? Let me think about that. Rob Pelinka. Now he did pull off those key trades that put us in this position with the Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell. So I agree with you there. But besides that, I don't know. I don't know. Rob Pelinka. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just know. I mean, he definitely made it work towards the end of the season. Correct, and that's what I was about to say. He definitely made it work towards the end of the season where we are now. Mike Brown should win Coach of the Year. I think that doesn't go without being said. Um, Rob Pelinka for GM of the Year. He has made the moves that put us in the position. I'm trying to think, has there been any huge other moves by any other GMs that have uh, made noise? Probably so. I could go with that. Rob Pelinka, GM of the Year. Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. Um, yeah, Phoenix, and I don't even think I was about to say I don't even think that would necessarily be uh that was the move made by their GM. He just probably heard something and just agreed to it. I don't know. I don't think he made that move, but and then again, that was at the end of the year. I think that was too late of a move for the most part, especially like you said, Phoenix was already a top seeded team. So and they're still a top seed. They're still a 14 at this point. So it's like that they can really do it. And Brooklyn GM Sean Marks, I wouldn't even say that. But he did bring in, they're still a playoff team, not a play-in, but a playoff team. But I think, like Coach Wayne said, that's more so, that definitely belongs to Rob Pelinka as for help, especially if the Lakers become a playoff team as per they were in the 12th in the West. Now they're looking at potentially being sixth, possibly fifth, depending on how it goes. That has to be uh, a huge accomplishment because especially when you take into consideration the top players being out the majority of the year, he moved around. So Rob Pelinka should get GM of the year, executive of the year, or something like that. And I agree with Mike Brown as coach of the year because I think he's turned his team around the most. So that he's deserving of that. We'll see, of course. Who got defensive player of the year? That's something that hasn't been talked about. Who's the DOP? DPO, I'm sorry. DP. Uh, Jared Jackson Jr. Triple J. I'm not going to even go into the conversations about the player of the year. I think we'll start to see that formulate. I will ask this: do y'all believe that Joel Embiid is the MVP? I'll just ask that question: is Joel Embiid the MVP? Moving into some NFL conversation, right? So a couple of interesting things are going on yesterday. No, Embiid did push too late. Okay, Alonzo said yes. Anthony says no, too late of a push. I would like to know that argument. So Alonzo, you believe the performance from last night got Joel the trophy potentially, or you just think he's been pushing it to where he was going to do enough to overcome Antetokounmpo and Jokic? Jokic. I'm sorry, Jokic. Just interested to know. Um, as we wait for that, I will get back in that. So, of course, as we know, the NFL season is in their off season with the plans going in. Hold up. Jokic sat out the last 3 games. It was lackluster last night. Correct. That was strong performance last night, and he's been playing, and which I completely understand that. in which like I said, I thought initially that's why Jokic kept coming back, because they was talking that same talk when Jokic was out previously, and Embiid was playing. Jokic came back. He got him a couple of good games in. They said Jokic had came and snatched back the lead again. Jokic was down with the thigh bruise that kept him out. And then Embiid, like you said, kept playing. And now that performance last night was a pretty good performance. But is it enough to solidify him to where, what if Jokic comes back and has 3 performances of that magnitude, or 2 or 1? Is that like, is it game blouses right now for Joel Embiid, or is it still a possibility that it's anyone's race currently? And I guess, like I said, it could go. It's a toss up at this point. We don't know. We know, presumably, Jokic has been a front runner. I think it speaks volumes. We know what triple doubles do. We haven't seen any point to where anyone has ever averaged a triple double or even close, and hasn't gotten the MVP award. I think that's what Jokic currently has the edge to stand on, is the simple fact of he was so far ahead that it put him in position to already be that awardee. But it's not to say that he's not a lot of contention. But like I said, we will see. That's kind of hard to deny a person that gets a triple double, and team is a top team in a conference. But then again, Philadelphia, I think Philly doesn't Philly have a better record than than Joker? Let me see. Let me check to see, make sure. Overall record, Philly is 52-27. Teams are tied. Joker did take care of Embiid head to head. Oh yeah, definitely without. I mean, the man got 2 in a row. Like, yeah, I think he could go away. I think he's not worried about it. And honestly, I don't think anyone is more worried about it than Joel Embiid. Like, he feels like he's been deserving of it. In which to say, honestly, he has, but he's been passed over twice. Last year might have been a little more suspect in him winning, but I think this year is a little more clear than it was last year. So if Jokic was able to win last year, and the suspect situation, I think, is a little more clear this year that he has been pretty potent and proficient. That's why I think it might be out of his hands this year. It might be in Jokic's hands this year. All right, Giannis more concerned with the health as well. Joel would be on a mission to finish strong with the MVP. I agree with you, Lonzo. I definitely agree. Anthony said free and beat. We'll see, man. 3 games remaining. I'm very sure the ballot is already in, unless they're waiting to the last days to say, hey, this is what we believe in. But if I had the program to sit up and put head to head, but like I said, the Nuggets and the 76ers are both in the same predicament, same record. Embiid is scoring more, but Jokic just has more of a complete field going on. Yeah, so I don't know. Jazz and Mavericks, like I said, still in contention. Who's the Nuggets' last games? So for the Nuggets' last 3 games remaining, they play against the Phoenix Suns. They play against Phoenix tomorrow. They got Utah on Sunday. I mean on Saturday, and then Sacramento on Sunday. That's not a bad. So Phoenix tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday. So tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday is the last games for the Denver Nuggets. So not Joel Embiid. Nikola Jokic has 3 games to solidify that. For let me see, for Philly. Oh, all right, I pulled up the wrong one. For Philly, we currently are looking at Philly's last remaining games. They play Miami tomorrow, Atlanta on Friday, and Brooklyn on Sunday. That's an easier schedule between the two. So, yeah. I guess it depends on how the voters look at it. Excuse me. He's currently that's them. Let me see something. Let me check out Embiid's stats. Embiid, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. So I think that's the most points in the he leads in the NBA in scoring. Jokic is currently at 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. Definitely a slight disparity. It remains to be seen. Let me check out one more. I'm sorry. Then we'll move on. I want to check out Giannis. Giannis, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. It's close. It's close. It's very close. I don't know. I think it's Jokic. Keep it up because the NBA stats matter. It's close, man. It's definitely close. But I think it's if you're looking at the points from the stats. The stats are in Embiid is, in my opinion, Jokic's favor. 24.8, 11.9, and 9.8. Although that's a difference in like 8 points a game between Embiid and Jokic. But there's also a almost 2 rebound a game disparity, as well as a 5 or 6 a game disparity when it comes to Jokic and Embiid. And then of course with Giannis, is about a 7 point a game between him and Jokic. Just a point, almost just 1 rebound a game average, and then like 4 assists average. Plus the Nuggets are number 1, and that part too, Anthony. They currently a number 1 seed in their out west. But they're tied when you look at head-to-head records. Philadelphia and Denver are currently tied, so that might make a difference. And then between Giannis and is very close between Giannis and Joel, a difference of 2 points a game, as well as difference of 2 rebounds a game, and then the difference of 2 assists a game. But the latter two going to Giannis. So I don't know, but we'll see. It definitely see. I'm here for it to check it out and see how it goes. Like I say, moving on to the NFL. There's a lot of players still out there left when it comes to free agency. So, of course, if you look at NFL.com, they have a whole thing on what they call the all graybeards team selection. First and foremost, their graybeard selections for quarterbacks being Carson Wentz and Teddy Bridgewater, 2 favorable free agents that's out there. Carson Wentz probably has played himself out of a possibility, but it's hard to look at or omit a one-time MVP candidate, a Super Bowl quarterback, based off of what has come. So definitely a key person to be somewhere to be a backup. Ideally, I could see him in somewhere like the the Rams, Los Angeles, or something like that, where he could be a serviceable backup. So I'm very sure once all the chips fall and once it's all said and done with the draft, we're going to see Carson Wentz on somebody's roster. That's inevitable. I don't think he's going to sit out, not be able to play for the season. He's going to get someone's squad. He's going to get on someone's team. Teddy Bridgewater been favorable over the course of the year, so we can see that potentially. Maybe even Cam gets on somebody's roster at some point. So going forth, but definitely we have Carson Wentz and Teddy Bridgewater. For the running backs, Jerick McKinnon, Super Bowl winning running back. Jerick McKinnon turned back the hands of time. It seemed he got it in there. Same thing, Latavius Murray. Although Latavius Murray is a little longer in the tooth, with 3 years over Jerick McKinnon, but that's definitely something to take a look at. He's, I guess, a service will be able to back up when you look at it. Any team that's going to need a backup to have them, one of these two guys in their running back room, I think is going to be key. Of course, other players like Mark Ingram, David Johnson, and Rex Burkhead. I think Burkhead, for the most part, isn't a bad if you're looking to get swing outs, wheel routes, things of that nature. He fits the bill. Wide receivers, gray beard wide receivers. Bridgewater with the Ravens. I won't disagree. I think Bridgewater actually becomes a later pickup, honestly, to where if a team loses loses like a starter or loses a backup, then they bring in like a Bridgewater. I think he's going to be that. I think Carson Wentz gets off the board before Bridgewater as far as talent, but of course Bridgewater at a reduced rate, a cheaper rate. If that's the case, then Bridgewater. But I think Carson and Bridgewater both get a job, especially once by the time training spring camp starts. Wide receivers: Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones, and T.Y. Hilton. Of course, we know Beckham. We know he would already be on someone's roster if it wasn't for his injury history. We will probably be seeing him somewhere. Jarvis Landry, does he get a chance to run it back with New Orleans? Of course, I think a lot of these people are still out there. Maybe not T.Y. and Julio, maybe not. But Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, I think, are still out there due to there's still something to be seen in reference to the playoffs. I mean, correction, the draft. After the draft, once teams go and make some moves and start to pull in and see who's out there for free agency, they're going to start to think about looking and bringing in talent or even just a veteran presence. And I think that's where you go, where it gets at for Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton might be out of jobs. Of course, you've got players still out there like Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins that could make a difference. But for the most part, I don't foresee anything really for Hilton and Jones at this point. Tight ends: Mercedes Lewis, Cam Brate. It's funny when some of these people are that we talk about our team are people who Aaron Rodgers has brought up. The Randall Cobb, Odell Beckham, Mercedes Lewis, people in which he would like to play with or he thinks he'd be serviceable, which we don't know yet, of course, if that's going to be the case or how many more, because we don't know what the outcome is of the Jets yet. But as they said, there's no timetable. Of course, Kyle Rudolph is a good one that's still out there. Additionally, when we're talking about tight ends, on the line, Donovan Smith, Roger Saffold at left guard, center Ben Jones, Gabe Jackson at right guard, and at right tackle Taylor Lewan. Of course, Lewan is a key one. I think he gets picked up as well. Additionally, you got Eric Fisher still available, George Fant, Connor McGovern, Jason Peters. But of course, seeing if they're going to pay, who's going to pay $1 for these dudes. At edge rushers, Justin Houston, Frank Clark, Leonard Floyd, as well as Devion Clowney. Clowney might have played. The last days might be behind him, but I think he can definitely take on that role of like what Dominic Sue continues to produce for himself. He continues to show that he can be a serviceable player to get some time in, to be a second part of a second unit, and push that. I think that's what Clowney is becoming. Frank Clark did release. When you think about it, off of a Super Bowl team, for you to be released off of, as a defense, just still 29. Technically, he isn't turning 30 till June. I gotta take a look at some of this stuff, man. And that's my opinion. Of course, Floyd available. Melvin Ingram III and Bud Dupree, honorable mentions. Inside defensive linemen, of course, the aforementioned Dominic Sue, Quentin Richardson, Shelby Harris, as well as Matthew Adonis. Sue, oldest of the group. I don't know. He may, again, when you look at it, when it comes down to the lineman being needed and you need someone quick in the pinch, I think that's what has become in Dominic Sue's current role, almost like a Calais Campbell, so to speak. So, well, it remains to be seen if he gets. I think he gets at least one more opportunity to play for a team. After that, then we might have to fade the sunset for a Dominic Sue. Linebackers, of course, John Bostic, Marcus Golden, Anthony Barr. Still, I guess, older when you talk about NFL, all 31, ages 31. Barr released which was unexpected by the Minnesota Vikings, but of course they're trying to make a move to get younger. Cornerbacks, Marcus Peters, Bryce Callahan, William Jackson, as well as Byron Jones. Marcus Peters is definitely his style is a little different. You know, he's very aggressive, tends to get up in your face, antagonizer a little bit. But I'm very sure he can still put it away and make moves coming off an ACL injury. So he could be a possibility. Jason Verrett, injury prone. That's the only thing you can say for that. So that might be a little bit different. People might not be willing to get a part of that or grab anyone from or take a chance on Jason Verrett, although he can be serviceable. But again, once they go through, bring these players in, put them on practice squads, and let them work their way back up, and then see how it can go. And lastly, Adrian Amos, Deron Harmon. When it comes to special teams, of course, you had Robbie Gould, last play for the 49ers last year, 29 for 29 field goals, 39 for 39 on point afters. But I think it's coming to a point to where yes, he was proficient on his field goals, but you need distance sometimes. You got to be able to put the ball down. I think Robbie Gould now is probably at a 47, 48 yard distance. That doesn't look too becoming when you look at it, especially to be on a team where they might have to scrap and fight, and you need you to be able to hit that long distance field goal to keep them in the fight. And that's not Robbie Gould at this point. Andy Lee at punter. Different coaching staff is when you look at it. Wade Phillips is a older coach. Greg Roman, offensive coordinator, although Greg Roman said he was taking a step away from the game for the most part a year, in which he talked highly about Lamar Jackson, in which his conversation about Lamar Jackson basically was that Lamar is more proficient as a mobile quarterback than he is. Not correction. I want to miss this word. He said Lamar does more damage running and is safer running than he is standing in the pocket. He's like, when you take a look at all the injuries in which Lamar Jackson has incurred, has mostly been from when he was in the pocket and he might have got sacked or tackled or something like that. When he's outside the pocket, he's very smart and knows how to move around and put himself in position to where he doesn't get hit. So he's like, he's shown that he can be very effective outside the pocket. So for it to be a conversation in reference to his durability from the standpoint of how he's playing, his mode of play, his style of play, is a little off because that's when he's the safest, is when he's outside the pocket. Something to go on to think about. Of course, defensive coordinator Rex Ryan is one that's out there. We did know Rex Ryan put his name in the hat for the defensive coordinator position for the Denver Broncos. He wasn't selected. A matter of fact, speaking of the Denver Broncos, if you haven't been paying attention, the Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway has went from being the quarterback to being a GM to being president of operations to not having a contract any longer with the Denver Broncos, as now he has him as well as the owners of the Denver Broncos has stated that they think it was best for them to part ways amicably. They said it was all agreed upon between both parties for him to go and be and not be a part of the organization any longer. For John Elway, he said he wanted to add a little more flexibility to his careers. He's currently 61 years old and didn't want to stay, for the most part, quote unquote, just pegged to where he was strictly with the Denver Broncos. So he has been serviceable. He did help with them to gain a championship after the fact late in his career. Late in his front office career. So he has been serviceable. He did say he will continue to play a role for the most part to advise and stuff like that if ever needed. But he's just wanted to get a breakaway and get out of being a part of the organization as they move forth and continue on. So interesting. That very interesting when you look at that. I always take a look at where these greats, these teen greats, get back and how they give back and what they say and how they interact with the organizations years after that. Like especially for the Denver, where now they have changed. They have changed the guard. They got a new ownership group that came in that had nothing to do with those years in which LA was around. So it basically that's where you're at. So John Elway no longer a part of the Broncos organization, but still a friend there. Where are we at? Unfortunately, Austin Ekeler, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers, was not able to find anyone that was willing to bid or take his services. He is still in Los Angeles, and with the Chargers. Expectancy for him is to play at least one more year with the Chargers and maybe come out next year to where he can go. He said he was felt punched in the face by the Chargers in their extension talks. Just wasn't there for him, and he elected to try to find another team. Now, of course, what we look at it is if he goes in, he does well, he's going to definitely probably get an opportunity to get more money added to any of those extensions. If not, then he's going to probably become a free agent and have to move around like that. It's unfortunate, especially for that of a running back. We see what happened to Ezekiel Elliott in this year, second in a lot of statistical categories for the Dallas Cowboys, and yet still he was released. Now he currently sits without a position of a job and just buying out the time to see where someone's going to give him a call up. Of course, I think all this comes up with these names of which we speak about that's out there. That all becomes a part of the aftermath of the draft or during the draft. You might see an opportunity where Ekeler might be able to get moved out, and and a good player falls into the lap of the Los Angeles Chargers. Same thing for any other team in which they have a player that isn't happy, wants to go on about their business, but then some team might take a look and be like, I think this is a perfect opportunity. We can get our hands on this and go from there. Sometimes just a salary cap dump and different things. So a lot of different modes as we get closer and closer. As we know, the NFL's draft is upon us, just a couple of weeks away. Around the same time as the National Military Basketball Tournament. So you get to choose your poison. Do you watch the NBA draft? Do you watch the National Military Basketball Tournament? What decisions? Teams need to trade now before the draft. So why would you say that, Anthony? Teams trade now before the draft. Like, of course, they've been doing that, but I think you wait till after the draft so that way, in my opinion, I would wish that the draft came prior to the free agency time frame. Because in the draft, you can determine, okay, I can get what I need. I don't need to pay this type of money, or I will pay this type of money for the players. And what you see, this is what fits best. This is what I want, and put it in perspective. I understand the doing it after the draft because it's like you go in, you draft free agency, you draft players and put them in the position after you've already filled the holes that you felt for certain talent, and you look at, okay, but I think you have a better chance of filling holes initially, and then you go back in and realize, do I want to pay this type of money for this player to fill this hole? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that helps. I think that helps along the way, but that's not conducively. I think that's a disadvantage to, of course, free agency as to the money that's being spent, because if you feel like you have a great player in a position that's potentially going to take that said player that you would pay that type of money to, it puts it at a disadvantage. And I think you have less with these large monies and resetting of the market every time a player gets assigned or something like that. It definitely reset that. Probably, but that's part of it. That's part of it. It's unfortunate, but that'll be part of it because some of the players are out of job anyway after the draft. So it's still, but it's more likely than yes true that some players aren't going to get money, but technically they gonna get money anyway. A team will see the value of it and be like, I'm just gonna go ahead. We're gonna eat this money. You're gonna release. We're gonna take this money. We're gonna get this dead skates money. We're gonna have this money against our cap. So be it. So last but not least, I think I would like to leave with this. Um, oh my goodness, I lost screen. Sorry. Um, where we see. I like to leave with this, right? So of course, if you've been paying attention to the NFL, yesterday Adam Schefter had a breaking news report as the Arizona Cardinals owner, Michael Bidwill, is being accused of gross misconduct, including cheating, discrimination, and harassment in what was an arbitrational claim filed by the former executive with the Arizona Cardinals, Terry McDonald, right? And McDonald filed this to Commissioner Roger Goodell directly. Basically, Terry McDonald maintains that both the former Cardinals head coach, Steve Wilks, and himself were left no choice but to follow directions from the owner in Bidwill, the plan to use burner phones to communicate with the former general manager, Steve King, while Steve King was serving a 5-week suspension after pleading guilty to a DUI in Arizona. So basically, King was suspended, and they used burner phones, untraceable for the most part, to communicate with him back and forth for those 5 weeks, for a month and a half. McDowell says he still has his phone, in which he says he contains evidence of the cheating scandals, as well as documentation and eyewitness testimony to each item presented in a potential. So it's getting a little dicey as yet we have another owner supposedly that has went and was in violation and doing things that he shouldn't have been done versus the NFL. And probably not as egregious that of in which Dan Snyder, but again, when you look at these people in these top positions and you have the utmost respect and believe that they're going to be above board and they're going to abide by rules and do what exactly we got to do to set an example, what we seem to be putting seeming is that organizations, especially those at the top of the organizations, are going to do what they need to do for their organization to remain that. And they put the dollar in front of everything. He said he ain't the only dirty owner, free on my owner, Dan. It's probably too late, Anthony. Dan is probably out the door. But true enough, it's not the only thing. And just like even when you talk about that in Dan Snyder, Jerry Jones is like, I already know everything that's going to be put out in a potential report in reference to Dan Snyder. So that to me, that's eyebrow raising. You know what I'm saying? That's side eye. Like, if that's the case, how do you know these things, Jerry? Is it because it's your practices, or did y'all discuss these practices? Like, why is it that you are aware of all this and what you say is about to be put out? Did you got ears? You know what I'm saying? Did you put out like what is really going on in the NFL? That's probably a documentary that needs to be done. In any case, more to come, of course, with Adam Schefter and his breaking story, to where we see what is the outcome for Phoenix. Interesting enough, we know they just had a new owner take over the franchises in the WNBA and NBA. Are we looking at a situation to where potentially you have the same type of movement going on with the with their NFL franchise team? It remains to be seen. Of course, so I'm going to go ahead and get them out of here. I greatly appreciate those that tapped in today. It's always a pleasure. Of course, more to come. Like I said, NBA action is going on tonight. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what's the latest and greatest with the NFL. I want to say something I was going to go over today. I'll probably save it for tomorrow. We can talk about that. A lot of money moves going on. So y'all be sure to tune in. It's me, your boy Trey. Greatly appreciate y'all rocking with it this morning. Look forward to see y'all tomorrow. Y'all know what it is. First Formation Morning Sports Talk. I'm out.